Chapter 5 Digestion and Absorption. Chapter Outline. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about digestive system, digestion of food and role of digestive enzymes, absorption and assimilation of proteins, carbohydrates and fats, digestion, caloric value of carbohydrates, proteins and fats, nutritional and digestive disorders. So dear students, in this video we are going to learn about alimentary canal and the associated digestive glands. So why do we need food? For what purpose we are taking in food? Because food provides energy and organic substances for growth and replacement of worn out tissues and damaged tissues. Along with this, food also regulates and coordinates the various activities in our body. So what are the main components of our food? Carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, vitamins, minerals, fiber and water. And the food what we are eating are macromolecules. So our cells in our body cannot able to take these macromolecules as such. So in order to break down these macromolecules into small micromolecules and in the absorbable form, so for this we need digestive system. So what is the primary function of the digestive system? It brings the nutrients, water and electrolytes from the external environment into every cells in our body through the circulatory system. Okay. So next we are going to see about digestive system. So the process of digestion involves 5 steps. So first one is ingestion. So ingestion means taking in of food. Then digestion. So the food what we are taken is in the form of macromolecules. So digestion means the breaking down of macromolecules into micromolecules and absorbable form, that is called as digestion. Next one is absorption. The digested food material is absorbed into the blood of our body. Then assimilation. So assimilation means the substance which are absorbed become components of the cells. Okay, that is called as assimilation. Then digestion, that is elimination of undigested food substances, that is called as digestion. So these are the 5 steps involved in digestive process. So here the digestive system it's divided into 2 structures, that is alimentary canal and digestive glands. So first we are going to learn about alimentary canal, structure of alimentary canal. So alimentary canal is a continuous muscular digestive tract and it begins with an anterior opening that is called as mouth and it opens out posteriorly through anus. So what are the parts found in alimentary canal or digestive tract are mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, intestine, rectum and anus. So now we are going to see these parts one by one. So first we are going to see about mouth. So mouth is concerned with the reception of food and it leads the food into buccal cavity. So in the buccal cavity, the mechanical digestion is initiated by chewing with the help of tongue and teeth. And the chemical digestion is carried out by salivary enzymes which is secreted by salivary glands. And the next part in the buccal cavity is teeth. So teeth are embedded in the socket, the jawbone. Hence, this type of dentition is called as thecodent dentition. So see this picture, you can see. So this is the entire structure of a tooth. Okay, so it get embedded in a socket. So this is the socket which is found in the jawbone. So such type of dentition is called as thecodent dentition. So in the case of human beings and many mammals, they possess 2 sets of teeth during their lifetime. The first set of teeth is called as temporary milk teeth, which is 20 in number. And the second set of teeth is called as permanent teeth, This permanent teeth replace this milk teeth, and which is 32 in number. So such type of dentition is called as diffudent dentition. And this permanent teeth are of four types. Okay, there are four types of permanent teeth. So the dentition is called as heterodont dentition. So what are the four types of teeth? Are incisors. So these are sessile like teeth which is used for cutting. So they are called as cutting teeth. Then canines. They are dagger shaped, helps in tearing the food material. So it is called as tearing teeth. Then premolars. So these premolars are meant for grinding the food materials. Then molars. These molars are used for grinding and crushing the food materials. So see this picture, you can see. So these are the socket of the jaw. So the teeth are embedded in the socket of the jaw. Okay, and so these are the arrangement of the teeth. So one half of the jaw, how the teeth are arranged means, so there are two incisor teeth and one canine teeth and two premolar teeth and three molar teeth. So these are given in the form of dental formula. So what do you mean by dental formula? The arrangement of teeth in each half of upper and lower jaw in the order of incisor, canine, premolar and molar. So what is the dental formula for human being? That is 2, 1, 2, 3 bar 2, 1, 2, 3 into 2. So first 2 represents 2 incisors, 1 canine, 2 premolars and 3 molars. The same way in the lower jaw also 2 incisors, 1 canine, 2 premolars and 3 molars. Okay, so these are the number of teeth, different types of teeth present in one half of the upper and lower jaw. So this represents the human dental formula. Next we are going to see about plaque. So what do you mean by plaque? So usually the mineral salts like calcium and magnesium are deposited on the teeth, and thus it form a hard layer, that is tartar or calculus. So that is called as plaque. So what will happen if this plaque is not removed means, so it would spread down into the narrow gap between the gums and enamel, and thereby it causes inflammation. That condition is called as gingivitis. Okay, so this leads to redness and bleeding of the gums. Thereby it leads to bad smell. Okay, so next part is enamel. So enamel is a hard chewing surface of the teeth. So this helps in mastication of food materials. So this white portion is called as enamel. So this is the hard portion that is called as enamel. So next part is tongue. So tongue is a freely movable muscular organ, and it is attached at the posterior end with the help of a tissue that is called as frenulum. See, so this region, this is called as frenulum, which attaches the tongue at the posterior end, and the anterior end of tongue is freely movable, and tongue acts as a universal toothbrush. Okay, and also it helps in intake of food and to chew the food material, and also it helps to mix the food material well with the saliva, and also it helps to swallow the food material along with this, and also it helps to speak. And the upper surface of the tongue has many small projections called as papillae. This papillae possess taste buds. And the next part is the oral cavity that leads to pharynx. So pharynx is nothing but a common passage for food as well as air. Here in the pharynx, both esophagus and trachea opens into the pharynx. And at the top of the trachea, the opening of the trachea, there is a cartilaginous flap that is called as epiglottis that will prevent the entry of food into the glottis during swallowing. So this is the common passage. Pharynx is the common passage for air and food. So this is the nasal cavity. Through this the air reaches the pharynx, and This is the mouth cavity, the oral cavity. The food enter and reaches the pharynx. So at the time of swallowing, there is a cartilaginous flap of tissue, and this is the upper part of the trachea. Okay, the larynx. So that larynx is the opening of the trachea. So at the time of swallowing, this will close this region. So thereby it will prevent the entry of food into the trachea or windpipe. And along with that, there are tonsils, which are of in the masses of lymphoid tissue, and that located at the side of the pharynx. The next part of the alimentary canal is esophagus. So actually, esophagus is a thin, long, muscular tube, and it helps in conduction of food from mouth to J-shaped stomach. And this esophagus passes through neck, thorax, diaphragm, and reaches the stomach. And at the point of opening of esophagus into the stomach is regulated by a sphincter called cardiac sphincter. So if this cardiac sphincter does not contract properly at the time of churning action of the stomach, the gastric juice, there may be a chance of the entry of gastric juice and acid into the esophagus. So that leads to hot bands that results in GERD, that is gastroesophageal reflux disorder. Next, stomach. Stomach is a temporary storage organ for food. It is located in the upper left portion of the abdominal cavity. It consists of 3 parts. So what are they? The first portion is called as cardiac portion, and to this portion only the esophagus opens. And the second portion, which is middle portion, called as fundic portion. And the third one is pyloric portion, which opens into duodenum. And the opening of the stomach into the duodenum is guarded by pyloric sphincter. And what is the function of this pyloric sphincter? Is periodically it will allow semi-digested food into the duodenum, and also it prevents regurgitation of food material, that is movement of food material back into the stomach. And the inner wall of the stomach has many folds, that is called as gastric ragae. So and this gastric ragae become unfold to accommodate a large meal. See this picture. So this region is called as cardiac portion. Okay, this is the cardiac portion, and at the junction of esophagus, this is esophagus and this is the cardiac portion. At the junction there is a sphincter that is called as cardiac sphincter, okay, or esophageal sphincter. Okay, and then so the middle region is the fundus region, and this end third region is the pyloric region, and the meeting place of duodenum and the pyloric region, there it possesses sphincter, pyloric sphincter. And so these folds of tissues inside the stomach is called as ragae. Next part is small intestine. Small intestine assists in final digestion and absorption of food material, and it is the longest part of the alimentary canal. And the small intestine is divided into 3 regions. They are U-shaped duodenum, which is 25 centimeters, and it possesses long coiled middle portion that is called as jejunum, which is 2.4 meter, and highly coiled ileum, which is 3.5 meter. And in the case of duodenum, the wall of the duodenum possesses a gland that is called as Brunner's glands, which secrete mucus and enzymes. And in the case of small intestine, ileum is the longest part, which opens into cecum of the large intestine. And this ileum has numerous vascular projection that is called as villi. So now we are going to see about villi. Villi involved in the process of absorption, and the cells lining the villi produces numerous microscopic projection that is called as microvilli. And this microvilli give a brush border appearance and also increase the surface area of the small intestine. And along with this villi, the ileal mucosa also contain mucus secreting goblet cells and lymphoid tissue that is called as Peyer's patches, which produces lymphocytes. And the wall of the small intestine bears crypts between the base of villi, that is called as crypts of Lieberkühn. So these are the structure of villi in the small intestine. So you can see many cells lining the villi. Okay. So this cells gives out many microscopic structure that is called as microvilli. So this will increase the surface area. And so between two villi there is a crypt that is called as crypts of Lieberkühn. So next we are going to see about large intestine. So large intestine consists of three parts. They are cecum, colon and rectum. So first part is cecum. So cecum is nothing but a small blind pouch like structure, and it opens into colon. And at the end of the cecum it possesses small finger-like tubular projection called vermiform appendix. And this cecum and vermiform appendix are larger in the case of herbivorous animals because it acts as an important site for cellulose digestion with the help of symbiotic bacteria. This colon is divided into four regions. So they are ascending colon, transfer colon, descending colon and sigmoid colon. So this is ascending colon, and this is transfer colon, descending colon and sigmoid colon. So these are the four parts of colon. And here the colon is lined by dilation that is called as haustra. So this folding is called as haustra. Dilation. This dilation is called as haustra. And the descending colon opens into S-shaped sigmoid colon, and this S-shaped sigmoid colon opens into rectum. The rectum is concerned with temporary storage of feces. Then the rectum opens out through anus, and this anus is guarded by two anal sphincter muscles, and this anal sphincter muscles folds into several vertical folds, and it contains arteries and veins. So that is called as anal column. Sometimes this anal column may enlarge and cause piles or hemorrhoids. So next we are going to see about histology of gut. So the wall of the alimentary canal consists of four layers. They are serosa, which is the outermost layer, and next to the serosa is muscularis, and the third layer is submucosa, and the fourth layer is mucosa. So first serosa, which is the outermost layer, and this layer is made up of squamous epithelium with some connective tissues. The second layer is muscularis, which is made up of smooth circular and longitudinal muscle fibers. So along with this, it possesses network of nerve cells and parasympathetic nerve fibers. This controls the peristaltic movement of alimentary canal. And the third layer is submucosal layer, which is formed of loose connective tissue, and also it contains nerves, blood and lymph vessels. Along with that, it possesses sympathetic nerve fibers, which controls the secretion of intestinal juice. And the innermost layer is mucosa. So the lining of lumen, it lines the lumen of the alimentary canal and it secretes mucus. So next we are going to see about the digestive glands. So actually in the case of digestive gland, they are exocrine glands, and they secrete a biological catalyst called enzymes. And the digestive glands associated with the alimentary canal are salivary glands, liver and pancreas. So along with this gland, the stomach wall has gastric glands which secrete gastric juice, and the intestinal mucosa secretes intestinal juice. So first we are going to see about salivary glands. There are three pairs of salivary glands in our mouth. The first one is parotid glands, so which is the largest salivary gland, and it is found in cheeks. And the duct of this gland is called as Stenson's duct. And the second salivary gland is submaxillary or submandibular salivary gland, which is found in the lower jaw. And the duct of this gland is called as Barton's duct. And the third gland is sublingual gland, which is the smallest salivary gland, and it is found beneath the tongue. that means under the tongue, and the duct of this gland is called as Bartholin's duct or duct of Rivenis. And the daily secretion of saliva is about 1000 ml to 1500 ml. Then gastric glands. So these gastric glands are found on the wall of the stomach. The gastric glands are made up of three types of cells. The first one is chief cells. It is also called as peptic cells or zymogen cells. And the main function of these chief cells are secretion of gastric enzymes. And the second type of cell is goblet cells. So these secretes mucus. The third set of cell is parietal cells. They are also called as oxantic cells, and it secretes hydrochloric acid. So along with that, it secretes a factor that is called as intrinsic factor. So these intrinsic factors are responsible for the absorption of vitamin B12. So it is called as Castle's intrinsic factor. So this is the gastric gland. Here it possesses chief cell, parietal cells and mucosal cells. So next gland is liver. So liver is the largest gland in our body, and it is situated in the upper right side of the abdominal cavity just below the diaphragm. So liver consists of two major left and right lobes and two minor lobes. And these lobes are connected with diaphragm. And each lobe has many hepatic lobules, and these lobules are covered by thin connective tissue sheath that is called as Glissen's capsule. And the hepatic cells, that means liver cells, secrete bile, and the secreted bile is stored and concentrated in a thin muscular sac that is called as gallbladder. And the duct that is arising from the gallbladder is called as cystic duct. And the cystic duct and hepatic duct from the liver form a common bile duct. And this bile duct passes down and joins with the main pancreatic duct. Thus it forms a common hepatopancreatic duct. And the opening of the hepatopancreatic duct into the duodenum is guarded by a sphincter called sphincter of Vody. And liver shows high power of regeneration. And the cells of liver are replaced by new cells in every 3 to 4 weeks. So this is the liver. So liver cells secrete bile, and this is the hepatic duct, and this is the cystic duct, and they fuse together and form common bile duct. And this is the gallbladder. The main function of gallbladder is it stores the bile and concentrate the bile. Okay, and it is connected with the main pancreatic duct. Thus it forms hepatopancreatic duct and open into duodenum. Next we are going to see about pancreas. So it's the last digestive gland we are going to see. It is the second largest gland in our body, and it is yellow color, compound, elongated organ. So it consists of exocrine and as well as endocrine glands. So where it is situated means it is situated between the limbs of U-shaped duodenum. So this is duodenum which is U-shaped. So it is present between these two limbs. So this is pancreas. So the exocrine portion secrete pancreatic juice, which consists of pancreatic amylase, trypsin and pancreatic lipase. And the endocrine part is called as islets of Langerhans, and it secretes hormones such as insulin and glucagon. And the pancreatic ducts directly open into duodenum. Okay students, I hope you have understood about the digestive tract and the digestive glands. So next video we can see about the process of digestion, absorption, assimilation and the digestive disorders. Thank you students.